We're going to be talking about the 5 class setups that you should be using in ranked play. So let's start off with the P90, aka the PDSW528. Now, do not dismiss this weapon whatsoever. In my humble opinion, I believe this is the meta SMG in Season 3, and we'll talk about why. So with the P90, you get actually 50 rounds per magazine, which is absolutely insane. It makes it viable for longer range gunfights regardless. Even if it's an SMG, it still helps you out in that department to be able to leave some room for error if you don't have a straight shot. Now, for my muzzle, I'm using the Spiral V3.5 flash hider, and then for the rear grip, we got the Bruin Q900 grip, and for our comb, we're actually using the TheVTurboMan for the comb as well. And then for the stock, we have the hollow extended stock. Now, one thing I do want to talk about this weapon, why I believe it is the best, is because mainly of its movement and mobility. You know, that's where it absolutely shines. And then secondly, its recoil control is absolutely insane, especially with this class setup that I do provide for you guys. So as you can see, we can take out 2 people greatly with just 1 magazine, and that's what makes it amazing. And then also that recoil control is also great. Like, you know, this could still drop people at longer ranges. Now, if this was a normal SMG like the 𝗧𝗘, for example, or the MP5, dude, you only have 30 rounds to work with, and you know, you're gonna have a hard time trying to take on multiple enemies at a time. So that's why P90 is absolutely insane, and I'm going to be coming out with multiple videos with the P90 just so I can prove that this thing is an absolute beast. And I do get a lot of comments when I am playing on ranked play of people having to say good things about it. They pick up my weapon and they say, dude, that P90 shreds, bro. It is absolutely insane. So yeah, definitely worth a shot. If you haven't tried the P90 yet, try this setup out. I highly recommend it. All right, so next up we have the Kastov 545. So this is pretty much a given. This is definitely my choice for assault rifles if I do want to play a lot more aggressive, up close and personal, especially on smaller maps. And you do need something that is going to have a fast TTK. So on paper, this actually does have a faster TTK than the TAC-56, just by a hair, but this also has a better mobility, so that's why it's best used up close and personal on smaller to medium sized maps. You know, think Mercado Las Almas. For the muzzle, we got the 𝗧𝗘𝗥𝗕𝗖𝗧 flash hider, and then for the underbarrel, we got the 𝗧𝗪𝗏𝗏, and then for our ammunition, we're using the high velocity rounds, and then for the rear grip, we got the TrueTech grip and the Kastov Rama for our stock. So let's go ahead and take a look at this right here. So I do have to reiterate that this is best used up close and personal, and also try to take advantage of those headshots when you are in close proximity, mainly because it has the best TTK when it's up close and personal. And again, all of my class setups are built using sim.gg to try to get the most optimal class setups, meaning the best recoil control possible, the best ADS and movement as we possibly can. All right, so yes, 545 is definitely a reliable and viable weapon in close quarter combat. All right, now here's the 𝗧𝗘 9K class setup. So this is a very popular setup amongst especially all pros, and this also checks out as well for trying to optimize your stats when we're talking about the 𝗧𝗘 9K. So 𝗧𝗘 9K, for the muzzle, we got the Spiral V3.5 flash hider. Underbarrel is going to be the 𝗧𝗪𝗏𝗏, and the rear grip is going to be the TrueTech grip. And for the stock, we're going with the 𝗪𝗧𝗏 stock. So one thing that you probably may have noticed with the theme with the muzzles is that we've been using the Colossus flash hider or the Spiral flash hider. This is mainly due to the reduction in aim down sight speed penalties that was implemented in Season 2 Reloaded. So this actually makes using muzzles with pretty decent recoil control a lot more viable and also less punishing, because prior to this, your ADS would definitely be a lot more penalized, making it something that you do want to avoid when you're using it, especially in ranked play. In ranked play, every single stat matters because every single gunfight matters. You know, whether you're in a 1v1 situation in search and destroy, you're gonna want to have the best stats possible. So Yeah, one thing that's great about this particular class setup is obviously the movement. You know, the movement, the speed, it definitely is reliable. But, you know, if we're going to compare this to the P90, like I said, we only have 30 rounds to work with, and that's pretty much the only thing that I would give the upper hand to for the P90. But stat-wise, the 𝗧𝗪 actually has a faster time to kill. All right, now let's go ahead and move on to the TAC-56. Now, I actually dubbed this one the Crack-56 for one special reason. It's because this gives us the most insane ADS possible without really hindering too much of the weapon's stats. You know, that's very important. So we have some pretty ample recoil control while keeping a pretty cracked ADS, and that's super important. Now, the main reason why is because we're not using a barrel. Now, there are going to be some people saying, oh, why don't you use a barrel? Pros use barrels. Well, the reason why pros use barrels is because it's a gentleman's agreement. If they were not to use barrels, then the TAC-56 would just be way too overpowered as far as movement. And, you know, you think about movement like, you know, 𝗧𝗘𝗥𝗡𝗢𝗧 comes to mind. If you were to use a class setup like this would, he would definitely be super unstoppable, way too cracked out of his mind with this exact class setup, because the ADS is so much faster than what it is with a barrel. So this is exactly why we don't have to use a barrel. We're not pro players, so it doesn't make sense to copy a pro player class setup when it comes to the TAC-56. Now, for the muzzle, we're using the 𝗧𝗘𝗔𝗠 flash hider. As I was mentioning, the reduction in penalties makes it attractive. And then for our underbarrel, we got the 𝗧𝗪𝗥𝗙𝗢𝗏 90 high velocity rounds and a demo clean shot grip for the rear grip and the TV X-Line Pro. Now with this one, you know, if you do want to, you know, you could go with the TV Cardinal stock. If you're going to be going with the TV Cardinal stock, just realize that this actually is going to give you a better recoil control, but you're not going to have the pro of having a faster aim down sight speed as you will with the TV X-Line Pro. So you got to really weigh out which one is more important to you, aim down sight speed or just having less recoil penalty. So that's the main difference between these two attachments right here. So that's all on you. Just want to demonstrate why this is a pretty good class setup. If you were to put on a barrel, you will definitely see the difference in aim down sight speed. And the best thing that makes the TAC-56 so reliable is that it's literally a laser beam. You know, it doesn't matter how, you know, which stock you decide to go with. You can still get some pretty decent long-range shots with it. And also, it is a very, very reliable weapon, which is why a lot of pros do prefer the TAC-56 in a multitude of situations, as you see here. Very nice, very clean, very reliable. Definitely going to be using this on longer range maps. You know, think about like 𝗧𝗪𝗏 hydroelectric, etc., etc. So with the 𝗧𝗪𝗏 sub, it's a fairly simple class setup. So this one is the no recoil setup. So we only have the 𝗧𝗪𝗏 TCG 10 for the rear grip and the 𝗧𝗪𝗥𝗏 90 for the underbarrel and the Spiral V3.5 flash hider. So with this class setup, you definitely do get to maintain some pretty good ADS speeds as well as movement speeds while still having, you know, a pretty good recoil control here, especially from mid-range. You know, of course, that's going to be important in a multitude of situations, but this is a traditional SMG, and I do recommend it to be used in close quarter combat situations. And on paper, in fact, it actually does have a faster TTK than the 𝗧𝗪 9K, so that's definitely something to consider and why I am including this class setup in this list of weapons to use in ranked play. Yeah, definitely a laser. Now, you do have one option here, and you could use the LM Stockless mod just for a lot faster mobility and handling. But I'm going to warn you guys, it's going to be a lot harder to control that recoil, so it may not even be worth all using. If I were to give a suggestion, it's better off without the stock. All right, and last but not least, we have the MP7, aka the Valve 46. This one actually is a fairly viable weapon as well, especially with its buffs to Season 2 Reloaded. They actually did add a little bit more range to this weapon. And also, this magazine was boosted as far as the ADS pros, the 30-round magazine. So you do have a better movement control as well as ADS. And yeah, so this class setup is going to be the V3 flash hider, shark fin underbarrel, the 30-round magazine, Schlager shoulder grip, as well as the Assault 60 stock. So I mean, with all these attachments combined, this is a very, very viable class setup, especially if you're trying to run around, be very, very aggressive. And also the recoil control is great, and look at that ADS. That ADS is pretty nice as well. Very easy to control at mid ranges. And also the movement, you know, it's a very fun class setup to try and get super cracked movement with it. But also, you have to keep in mind, it doesn't have technically the fastest TTK out of all the SMGs, but just like the P90, its strengths is definitely its movement and also the recoil control. So, I mean, if you can hit all your shots in a straight shot, you know, that's all that really matters at the end of the day. All right, so there you have it. Those are the ranked play class setups that y'all should be using right now. If I were to highlight a class setup that you absolutely must try, definitely going to be the PDSW528. I urge you guys to try it out. Let me know what you think down below in the comments if you've tried it out. And yeah, leave a like if you like these kind of videos. It shows me I'm doing something right. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys in the next video.